A Star is Born is a 1976 musical romantic film directed by Frank Pearson. It stars Barbra Streisand, Chris Christopherson, Gary Busey, Paul Mazursky, and Joanne Linville. The movie premiered at Man Village Theater December 18, 1976, and was theatrically released by Warner Brothers on December 19, 1976. The film became a huge box office success, grossing over $80 million on a $6 million budget, making it the second highest grossing film of 1976. But there were mixed reviews about the film. It was praised for its performances and its musical score, and the music is great in it. But it was criticized for its screenplay and its lack of originality, and the most troubling thing that I see with the film is the runtime. It's way too long. It's the story of a talented rock star named John Norman Howard and his career as it begins to decline. He had too many years of concerts and managers and life on the road that made him really cynical, and the monotony of it all took its toll on him. Then he meets the innocent, pure, and very talented singer Esther Hoffman. As one of his songs in the movie says, "I'm going to take you, girl. I'm going to show you how." And he does. He shows Esther the way to stardom, all the time forsaking his own career. As they fall in love, her success only makes his decline even more apparent. Barbra Streisand was pretty insistent at the inception of this film that she wanted Elvis Presley to play the part of John Norman Howard. She even went to Las Vegas to see Elvis after one of his performances in 1975, just to talk to him directly and try to convince him to play the part. Elvis wanted to do it, but Colonel Tom Parker, his manager, was angry that Streisand didn't come to him first. He told the producers of the film that if they wanted Elvis's name had to be at the top of the movie poster above Streisand's name. And moreover than that, he was asking for a very large sum of money. You see, Elvis hadn't been in a movie since 1969, and nobody knew what he could still do at the box office. Because of all this, Elvis Presley didn't make the movie, even though he wanted to. The rock concert footage that's shown was shot before a crowd of 47,000 at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona, with Barbra Streisand and Chris Christopherson headlining the act. They also included other acts like Peter Frampton and Santana. The concert was booked and put together by concert promoter Bill Graham, and the price for a ticket back then was $3.50. Like I said earlier, the music is just excellent in the film, and the soundtrack to this movie was a really big hit. The version of Evergreen during the recording studio scene is actually a live recording, filmed in a single take. This was done at the insistence of Barbra Streisand. She hates doing lip sync work, and she wanted to be able to have close-ups of her during the scene that might expose many flaws in the lip sync. She wanted a more natural feel to it, as is evidenced by the kissing and laughing that occurs during it. Chris Christopherson, not so much. He was really reluctant about singing live on screen, and he had to be talked into it. A more formal studio recording was used for the final credits and the soundtrack album that went with the movie. One of the great things that you see in the film that's associated with the music is Chris Christopherson's character when he's driving in his sports car, slamming 8-track tapes into the tape player. This will definitely bring back some memories for people my age, as we used to do the same thing in order to get different varieties of music. Now, it's said that Chris Christopherson almost didn't get this role due to a conflict over publishing rights. It's also thought that Neil Diamond was another one that was considered for the part of John Norman Howard, but he turned it completely down due to his concert commitments that he had going on at the time. Now, one of the things you'll see in the movie at the very beginning is a quick scene with the actor Robert Englund, who's famous for playing Freddy Krueger in the Nightmare on Elm Street movies. This actor claims in an interview that Kris Kristofferson actually broke his nose after punching him during their fight scene. Kristofferson thought that Robert was a stunt person, and he was under the impression that he could get a little closer to those people when performing the actual stunts. After he found out he had punched another actor, he felt really bad about it and invited the actor over to his trailer to drink some wine and to let him know that he was really sorry and had no hard feelings toward him at all. The earlier films that were done that had the same title portrayed the behind-the-scenes world of Hollywood filmmaking, but this version adapted the story to the music business. For example, the 1937 and 1954 films each portrayed the female lead character winning an Academy Award, while this 1976 version depicted her winning a Grammy Award instead. A lot of people thought that Kris Kristofferson modeled his character after Jim Morrison, but he states that that's not the case at all. He thought it was a good idea, but it wasn't true. He says that he never met Morrison that he can remember, but a lot of people think that they look somewhat alike, especially in the movie, with shirts off and beards. But he states that that washed-up rock star look was more about him and his inner demons. You'll see some pretty cool cameos that are just quick shots, one being Rita Coolidge, who is Kris Kristofferson's wife, and also Tony Orlando appear briefly as themselves. Jerry Schatzberg was originally involved in the film, but he quit the production when Barbra Streisand refused to consider making her character more of a Janis Joplin-type figure. This concept would resurface 3 years later with the movie The Rose from 1979, directed by Mark Rydell, who at one time was supposed to direct this film. The director of the movie, Frank Pearson, was so angered by his experiences working with Barbra Streisand that he wrote a first-hand account of it and published this in various magazines. He detailed the horrible experience that he had had working with her. He described her as egocentric, manipulative, and controlling. These articles were published just prior to the film's release in December of '76. And not surprisingly, Streisand and Pearson have never worked together again. But that wasn't the end of the drama. Kris Kristofferson compared making this movie to going through Ranger School, something he did in 1963. He said you sleep an average of 3 hours on a 24-hour day, and that your skills and will to succeed is constantly being challenged for 3 months. He struggled working with Streisand too. He said it was an experience that basically cured him from making movies. I think he's somewhat gotten over that as time went on. But he also didn't get along with the director at all either. In response to all this, Kristofferson states that during that time he was really too drunk to give a damn. Take a look back at this great movie from the 70s. It's really a fun watch. If you can get past the fact that it's a little bit long, you'll enjoy it. The music is exceptional. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll continue to chase the classics.